You have done some of my favorite things, from directing Spinning Out and being an executive producer of that. It's one of my favorite shows I found during the pandemic. And now you've done this really fun musical movie, Sneakerella. Talk to me about the vibe and the look that you wanted to go for with this film.
Um, I felt like it should have all the pop and the color and the beauty of Disney that we all know and love. But because it's set in Astoria and it's in the streets of New York City, there also had to be a little bit of grit. So it was kind of a combination of like taking reality and putting a little bit of paint on it. And that was kind of my theme throughout. And we picked very specific colors to add those little pops of color throughout, but we also made sure that we saw like the dirt in the corners, and the reality.
I love that, especially like the little additions of like the drawings and things that were added, and like the Cinderella squawking bird, I think got me. I love the little nuggets that are in there for the fans of Cinderella.
That's a good way to say it, little nuggets. Yeah.
little nuggets. Are you familiar with the sneakerhead world before diving into this film?
Yeah, I was a big fan of sneakers and sneaker culture. But seeing the idea of taking Cinderella, which is always the shoe is a character in the story we all know and love, and then modernizing it into sneakers, where if there's a common ground there and everyone finds expression through their sneakers, it just seemed like a no-brainer. Also, I have to mention that I have 7 nephews, and they were like, Aunt Liz, you have to get this job, because they're all obsessed with sneakers in their own ways. And it was like, for each of them, as they were getting older, it was like a form of expression, like self-expression for each one of them. And I really saw that deeply in each one of them.
Yeah, my brother is a huge sneaker fan, like sitting out, standing in the lines. I'm like, these are shoes, guys. It's amazing, the whole culture behind it. Like, don't crack them. It's a whole thing. Was this your first musical that you've directed?
Well, I'd gotten a little taste of musicals when I did Empire, because I did several episodes of that, and that is its own sort of challenge, because you're doing in just a couple of weeks, 5 original songs or so. And it was so intoxicating, because you got to break the mold and you got to do things that you just don't normally do in film medium, where people are like singing at the top of their lungs, like their subtext and or their feelings, and dancing and moving in ways that you don't normally block. And so for me, once that was like cracked open, I was like, oh yeah, I love this medium. And so I wanted to really explore like the cinematic version of that.
Love that. And for my last question, what are you hoping that viewers take from Sneakerella?
I guess the most important thing for me is that it's okay to unabashedly pursue your dreams, and that you don't need to wait for your prince to come. Like, it's all inside you. If you have something burning, that you just need to get it out there. I think if you trust your gut, that you can achieve it, and you owe it to yourself.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. And I hope everyone checks out Sneakerella on Disney Plus.